Hi everyone, this is Lindsay. Thanks for stopping by. I just wanted to share a card with you today using fun products from Hero Arts, Avery, Elle, and Ranger. I pre-made this panel. For some reason, it didn't record or I don't have the footage. Anyway, so I'm showing you what I used there, the classic fabric design background stamp from Hero Arts with shaded lilac and tumbled glass distress inks. And I simply spritzed, I added the ink to the background stamp and spritzed it with water and used Tim Holtz distress watercolor paper and stamped that on that paper. So you have that really fun corner design. Right now I'm using Avery Elle's, and I just forgot the name of the stamp set, their latest flower stamp set, released last month. And I'm stamping out a small flower and a large flower along with 4 leaves. So here I'm just adding my powder tool to cut down on any stray embossing powders, because I'm using American Crafts, I think it's a silver pewter is what it's called. It's older. I've had it forever. And I'm just heat embossing those flowers, and I'm stamping the last leaf here, and I'll heat emboss those as well. And I'm going to be watercoloring them in the same colors I used for my background, in the shaded lilac and the tumbled glass. I don't have any kind of periwinkle color in my stash at all. No, all the inks I do not have any periwinkle. So I decided to kind of meld and create my own periwinkle color. I don't know if it worked or not, but I'm watercoloring in. I'm wetting down the rose first with water, and then I'm going to drop in the blue color, the tumbled glass, this light blue. And when you add water, it just spreads around. It creates a really nice flow. So after I've dropped in the tumbled glass, while it was still wet, I added the shaded lilac to like the base of the flower, some of the petals, and the way it mixed was it was a really neat look. So I'm going to add in some of that shaded lilac. I think this is a number 2 round brush, and the one up in the corner is a 1. So small enough to get into the smaller places. So I'm just going to keep adding the tumbled glass, and then dropping in the shaded lilac, and I will let those air dry. And you can see it's so pretty. I love the marbled look with the shiny emboss. So you're probably wondering why these are cut out. I don't know why they were cut out. After I started cutting them, I realized that I needed to watercolor them, but I don't know why I cut them out. Habit, I guess. So here I'm just doing the same to the leaves, and once I'm done, I'm going to trim all of these out right up against the border. And in hindsight, I didn't really like how it looked because the embossing was hard to cut around, so I probably would have left a border, but I didn't, but that's okay. So after I'm done cutting these out, I'm going to add them to my panel, and I'm just finishing off that leaf. I did decide after the video was completely done to add that 4th leaf in. As you can see, I did trim it out later. But I'm just seeing where I want it on my panel, and then I'm going to take my Misty stamping tool and add my sentiment. And again, the sentiment is from that Avery Elle stamp set. I will list the name of that stamp set in the description below, because for some reason I just cannot remember what it's called. So my good friend Katie gave me that grid. It's actually a quilter's template, and I trimmed it down, and I'm just using the grid lines. I'm going to use the grid lines to add my sentiment and make sure that it's straight. I'll then close the door on the Misty, and it will be on the lid, so they'll be perfectly straight. Remove the flowers. Now, Misty, they do sell or it comes with your Misty, but you print it off with your computer and all that, but I didn't do that, so I just have this template from a quilting. So I'm adding some more some powder so that I don't get embossing powder everywhere. Remove the template, and I'm going to ink up that sentiment and stamp it down. And once I'm done with that, I'll add more of that pewter embossing powder to keep with the same look of the flowers. And I just keep some of my older embossing powders in, like, I think this is like a little Rubbermaid container I got at a discount store. They were super cheap. Full price, I think they're not as cheap as I got it, but they're really handy because they stack. So after that was done, I didn't need to add that much adhesive on this because I don't know how I did it, but I adhered my panel upside down on my card base. So I had to, after the initial panic wore off, I had to rip it off. So there was sort of adhesive on it. Anyway, it was late. This card was hard to come by, and I don't know how I did that, but we fixed it. I didn't rip the panel and have to remake it, so I put it the right way on my card base, and now I'm adhering the flowers down. One is raised with foam tape, and the other I'm using some strong adhesive to kind of tuck it underneath. And I'm just kind of shaping it around my sentiment. And then I will add my leaves to tuck those underneath, 2 on the big one, and I did end up adding that 4th leaf after I was done with my video. And I also did add sequins, as you can see in my blog post. If you head over to lindsayamrine.blogspot.com, you can see the finished card. But I did end up adding that bigger leaf and some sequins. So I hope you were inspired and that you play along with the Runway Challenge this week. Thanks so much for stopping by, and have a great day.